like if they're talking about psychedelics, like all of it's cool. But if it's just God being God and God engaging with his creation as the creator, all of a sudden that doesn't make sense for some reason. But because it's psychedelics, then it's like, what?
Talk about heaven, or to talk about like the real reality outside the simulator, whatever you want to call it. And this is the best, and it gets translated in a lot of different ways. It was something like, it was a light in the darkness, and the darkness did not understand it. So it's like the truth appears in the darkness. The darkness is like, we don't even know what this is. I can't see it. I don't understand it. And then that was like Jesus is a representation of that, the manifestation of that possibility of like pure truth appearing in a.
No, Jesus is that. Jesus is truth appearing. Jesus is the word of God appearing. Jesus is the logos appearing. The word means the word for word is logos. So he's not just a representation. He actually is that
world of darkness.
Yeah, and yeah, this is, we're quoting John 1 here, right?
And whoa, dude, that's fucking cool. Regardless of historical truth or whatever, that's just a beautiful and deep, heavy way of talking about parallel universes or the possibility of things happening on a planet where people have gotten completely lost, or suddenly in the midst of that, something appears that is.
So the interesting part here, and I would actually really like to hear your guys' thoughts, right? Like folks who are intrigued by the scriptures and see the value or the beauty of the scriptures, the gospel account, which is what he's getting at, right? Versus those people who take it and trust it as reliable. I think that people who are intrigued and are fascinated by the beauty of it, I think that's a good on-ramp, right? I think that's a good on-ramp. I think if you are starting from a place like Jordan Peterson or starting from a place like Duncan Trussell or where Joe Rogan is, I think that's a good on-ramp to go and investigate it further. Okay, let me pull up this passage. Here's what he's getting at. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and apart from him, not even one thing came into being that has come into being. In him was life, and the life was the light of mankind. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not grasp it. It's fascinating how well this gentleman quoted that back, right? A man came, one sent from God, and his name was John. He came as a witness to testify about the light so that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but he came to testify about the light. This was the true light that coming into the world enlightens every person. He was in the world, and the world came into being through him, and yet the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own people did not accept him. But as many as received him, to him he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of a man, but of God. And the Word, Jesus, the Word, the Logos, became flesh and dwelt among us. And when we saw his glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. That's a very beautiful picture of this stuff. And so I'm impressed with how well he was able to, I wouldn't say just paraphrase it, but kind of quote it verbatim. So Duncan Trussell was doing a good job with his